Hi guys, this is Miss Karen here, and I'm going to be instructing you on how to draw a chibi. This is Creative Use Art Lesson Crates, and I want to welcome you to this really fun little lesson. A chibi is a popular art style. It's popular with fans of manga and anime. It means someone or some animal that is smaller in stature compared to the majority. They often have big eyes, big heads, tiny bodies, and very, very large eyes. So when I taught anime in my art camps, these were the most popular things that the kids drew the entire summer. They had me draw every single character they could think of. They tried drawing their favorite characters, self-portraits, everything you can think of, you name it. It was a lot of fun because it's not realism. And sometimes it's fun to break away from trying to be realism or realistic and just have some fun. So the basic chibi design is quite simply okay, so to start with a chibi, we want to have a pencil and a sheet of paper. We're going to practice for a little bit, and then we'll get it ready to put on a canvas if you choose to do so, and fill it in with gouache paint, which came in your pack. Gouache paint it's more along the lines of a watercolor paint, even though it's thick and you don't have to add water to it. It has the consistency of a really thick watercolor, but it does flow like an acrylic. It has a slightly odd smell to it, but it's a really cool paint to work with. I enjoy working with gouache. It's just another type of paint that's out there that's fun to use. Alright, so for the basic chibi, we want to first start off with the very basic shape of a head. Now with the chibi, they are literally a big circle head and then a body that is about a quarter of the size of that head. So we can start off with little tiny mouth, nice and low. Typically they don't have a nose, but they do have a cheek and a cheek off to the sides. And then you can do a variety of eyes. Now in the sample that I gave you, you have two different kinds of eyes. You have just big ovals that are filled with black. Down here we have more of an anime style. Let's go ahead and shoot for the moon and try the anime style. So we're going to start by coming above the cheeks and do a tiny little smile on both sides. We're going to come up about a finger and a half high and do a frown and a frown. Try and make both eyes the same. Then we're going to do a big swoop down. Do a shine down low on both eyes, a shine up high on both eyes, and you can't really see it too well in the picture, but do a pupil in both eyes. You can do some really cute eyelashes. And of course some tiny little eyebrows. We'll do some hair. Now this is just going to be a generic character, so you can draw hair however you want to. I like to do just a few little random pieces kind of across the forehead. And then up along the top. Now hair does not technically follow the flat part of your head. It usually puffs up because we have body in our hair. So now, to prevent you from getting confused here, we can erase a little bit of these guidelines. Now, if you're anything like my daughter, this is going to become a fascination for you, and you're going to be turning everything into chibis. They have a tiny little neck. It would be physically impossible for them to survive life on a neck that tiny, but that's okay. Let's give her a little sailor collar. Give her a little bow. Tiny little puff sleeve. Tiny little waist. Cute little skirt. And then some legs. Very often their legs are just a swoop and a swoop with a tiny little shoe at the bottom. And the arms are very often just curved lines and oven mitts. Now, with chibis, you can take it to extreme measures by researching Japanese anime and really diving into these. But you can have some fun with it on your own as well. You don't have to research it, but if it turns out that it is something that you're very interested in, then definitely continue this on. It could be definitely a fun project to teach yourself. Okay, so what we want to do now is switch to another page and design our own character. Because you're going to put this character on a canvas. So for this one, I say let's do an animal. Don't you think? I think an animal would be really fun to do. I'd like to do a chibi dog. So let's start off with our sheet of paper here. We're going to sketch out our dog, and then you can redraw it on your canvas and fill it in. Draw your circle, and at the very top I want a very subtle frown that follows your circle. Then it's going to slightly tilt out and come straight out. Tilt out, straight out. Come on down. Not with straight lines, slightly bent. And bring it on up almost to where you curved out. Bring it on up, almost. So now if you need to, you can erase this line up here so it makes more sense. You just drew ears that are folded over towards the front. Now what we want to do is come down here about not quite halfway up. Draw a frown that curves down into almost an oval, but not quite. Give them a little nose with a shine. Down low, give a slight W and a rounded M just below it, and turn that into a tongue. You can erase what's inside of your tongue if it's confusing you. And now just bring that mouth down to meet up with the tongue. We're going to do two very large eyes that are pretty much going to touch the ear and the snout. Very large eyes. Do a pupil, a shine, and another shine that's going to V off. And we can have a little bit of a eyelid too. Come down on the sides and just give him a little bit of fur, zigzag back and forth, that goes into the face. He's going to have a bit of a scruff that's going to almost have the bottom of a heart shape. Come down with two very, very basic legs. Connect them. And from the back of this little tuft of fur, come down and bump out. Come down, bump out. Now it doesn't look right now because the eyes are a little funny looking, but watch what happens whenever I add just black. See how it kind of comes to life with just adding that black into the pupil? So now you see how to draw a really cute puppy dog chibi. Practice a few times before you put it on a canvas. And when you put it on your canvas, I do want to show you another very important part of drawing, which is making sure that your drawing has a background. So I've got this dog the way I like him. So to transfer it to my canvas, I'm going to turn him around. I'm going to take a pencil. I'm going to scribble over all of my lines. And this is going to form almost like a carbon paper. And it's going to help you with your guidelines. It's not necessary to be neat. Okay. So now what I want you to do is pause this video, go get your canvas, your paint, your bucket of water, cup of water, however you are able to store water. Fill it about halfway up. Get a napkin or a rag and make sure you're in not so great clothes because if it does get on you, it might stain. So go ahead and pause the video and get your supplies. Okay, my friends, I'm back. I have a canvas board here. And I wanted to show you something. On the back, there is this Artist Loft, which is the brand that these are purchased from. It's got info here, and sometimes people don't know how to answer them. So what you would put is title. You would name your painting. So maybe I'd put Puppy. The artist is me. The medium. Medium is what art supply you use. So we're going to be using gouache and pen. The date. And sign it. So that's how you would fill out the back. So now that you have done that, you don't have to sign the front. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Now if you're using just a regular canvas, that's not going to come on the back. That's only on these really cool flat ones. And I really like the flat canvases because they can lean. You don't have to frame it. You just plop it on a shelf. So I have my sketchy drawing here. I'm going to lay it wherever I want it on my canvas. I'm going to go a little bit bottom right. I'm going to use my pencil, pressing firmly. I'm going to redraw my little dog. You're going to see how well this transfers. The cool thing is, because it is a flat surface of a canvas, you can push down incredibly hard and it's not going to damage the canvas. If this were a regular canvas that does not have the board on the back, it would be too bouncy and you could basically make a hole. We don't want to do that. That's a wonderful thing about these. Alright, last little bit. 1, 2, 3. There you go. You may not be able to see it in the video. You see that little guy? I can see him very clearly, and on yours you could probably see yours as well. What I am going to do though, even though he is clearly drawn, I can see him very well. I want to Sharpie him because I want this to be a cartoon painting. So I'm going to outline my dog and then I will paint him in. Now this is a part you can either fast forward or pause it and do it on your own as well. Or you can just sit tight and watch me do this. I know watching an artist sometimes becomes hypnotizing. I love Bob Ross. I'm not painting along with him, but I sure love to watch him paint. Now I am going to fill in the black parts instead of painting them in, just because it's just a crisper black. You can fill it in with paint if you want to. One thing I do recommend with the gouache paint, with all paints other than watercolor, do not squeeze out more than what you need. It's wasteful. Supplies are not cheap, so you want to just little bits at a time. Don't over mix colors. There we go. So we have our little chibi dog. Now he needs a home. So I think back here, I'm going to draw his doghouse. And then maybe it's got like a little sign. It's going to be dark down in here because there's no windows. Dog houses are supposed to be nice and secure for the puppies. Let's name our little puppy Bella. Okay. We'll draw a little bit of grass back here. Maybe a few clouds. Now notice I am drawing very cartoony. Nothing realistic. Draw a couple little tufts of grass. And our little Bella is ready to be painted in. Super cute. Okay, so I have poured my gouache onto a plate only because it's very awkward painting on camera, dipping into the little the wells. I like to use a big plate, but you can squeeze them into the paint palette wells. You can squeeze it onto a plate, however you want. You're the artist. So we're just going to dip our paintbrush into our paint and start painting. You're going to notice that it feels a little chalky. It's a cool paint to use. I'm not gonna lie. You can touch in a little bit of white every now and then to give it some tonal changes in the sky, because the sky's not a solid color. And if you want your picture to be outlined in the very end and you might have painted over some of the lines, when it's completely dry, you can finish it off with some Sharpied in lines. Okay, well, I think you can pretty much see how to fill this in. Just make sure that when you change colors, you clean your brush off with water and then gently dry it with a napkin. Don't dab your brush because that will give your brush a bad hair day. So you want to be very, very soft. Wash it gently in your water. Lift it out, gently dry it off. Think soft, gentle, okay? So all I'm doing is coming around making sure all of my little speckles of white paint, white canvas get covered up. And every now and then I'm also tapping in a little bit of white because I just really like multiple colors in everything that I do. I don't like flat color. I feel like it's just too elementary looking for me. Now sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you need it to be one solid color. But if you look at the world around you, things are not single colored. Grass has many different colors. The sky, hair, everything. So I like to just jazz things up by adding multiple colors. Very often I'll dip in 2 colors at once and just get a natural blend. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what I was talking about cleaning your brush. Take your bucket. You're going to stir your water in there, or stir your brush in there really well. Stir, stir, stir. Tap the bottom of the bucket as you go. Drag your brush up along the side and gently, softly dry it off. If you have color on your brush after you've done this, you need to redo it because you have not gotten all of the paint off of your brush. So what color could you add to the green grass to give it some tonal changes? Yellow. Yellow is a great color to add to grass. It gives it kind of a springy look. Springy as in the season. And it just looks like fresh and new. Alright, I'm going to try not to paint too much over my lines because I do like the permanent marker look. Alrighty. And I think you guys are probably good to go. So I'm going to leave you painting your pictures. I would love to see some finished products, so please feel free to send them through our email or website, and we'll post them on our website. I love drawing chibis. I enjoy it so much because it's just so playful. I hope you enjoyed your lesson today. And I hope to see you guys soon.